Hello everyone, and today we are back for another Loomian Legacy video. And in this video, we will talk about Boarrok, the Loomian that was always good. Now, I already made this video about Boarrok on November 2022, 3 years ago. And since then, it has been given a brand new remodel, Rogue Assault to hit ice types, and even stat changes that buffed its defenses while nerfing its energy. Despite being a Loomian that was released into Loomian Legacy in 2019, it has been a Loomian that has been good in every meta. And why is it? Let's talk about Boarrok's base stats first. Boarrok's base stats are actually really good. It has a health stat of 102, energy stat of 71, melee attack of 110, melee defense of 95, ranged attack of 59, ranged defense of 70, and a speed stat of 68. These are overall really good stats, and this pretty much tells us Boarrok's role as a Loomian, a slow but powerful wall breaker. Despite that, 110 melee attack isn't the highest attack stat in the world, and other Loomians like the Behemoth have way higher melee attack stats. The reason why Boarrok can play its role as a wall breaker so well is because of its ability Boast. Every time Boarrok joins the game, it will gain a melee attack increase every time its melee attack is higher than the opposing Loomian. This is huge because this makes Boarrok actually hit a lot harder than it originally looks like, which is amazing for it. Even better, Boarrok has extremely high base power moves. Its main move of choice is Earthquake, a 90 base power move that does solid damage, but if you want a little more power, you can run its signature move Muckbuck, which has a little bit more base power at the cost of recoil. Rogue Assault is the brand move that was added in December 2023, and it's a 120 base power move that can hit ice types for super effective damage. It does come at the cost of lowering your defense stats, but it doesn't really matter that much for a wall breaker. It also has Mega Chomp to hit Luminami for super effective damage, and it also has 80 base power with a chance to flinch. And then its fourth move of choice is between 120 base power Raging Tackle to hit Dragodyne, or Quick Pounce that gives you simple type coverage and a priority move, because, you know, Boarrok's speed isn't necessarily the fastest, so it's nice to chip down low HP Loomians. So, yeah. It does have other moves like Body Crash, Quicksand, and even Bulk Up for more setup, but most of the time it will use either Earthquake or Muckbuck, Mega Chomp, Rogue Assault, and either Quick Pounce or Raging Tackle as its main moveset. If you add a Specialty Gloves on top of that, this makes it so nothing could switch into a +1 Boarrok, which makes it's insane. It hits that hard. It can even 2-hit KO Loomians like Lashent, which is crazy because Boarrok doesn't even hit Lashent for any super effective moves. Despite all of the pros for Boarrok, there are a couple of flaws that can definitely hold Boarrok back. Boarrok's power is tied to Boarrok getting the Boast boost. And if the opposing Loomian has a higher melee attack stat compared to Boarrok, it will actually lose power instead. And keep in mind, Boarrok only has 110 base melee attack. 50 or more Loomians either have the same or more melee attack than Boarrok, which is actually kind of crazy. But despite that, Boarrok can still get the Boast boost most of the time. The reason why is because even though it has only 110 melee attack, it almost always runs with a very brawny personality, making it so it actually has a way higher melee attack compared to other Loomians. And a lot of the Loomians that have a higher base melee attack cannot be ran with totemized stats, like Mutagon, Nevermare, Mind Mass, Ackloss, Clossatrup, Venusaur, and Icygull can't afford very brawny because they can only have one trait, meaning you will actually get the Boast boost on those Loomians. Not to mention that other Loomians like Wyndlin, Seadrake, Swolder, Terraclaw, and Terradescent benefit more from running other stat increases for those totemized stats. Like, for example, Terraclaw wants range defense increase, Swolder wants defense increase, Seadrake wants speed, Wyndlin wants speed, and Terradescent, I mean, I guess Terradescent can run very brawny, but it also wants speed, so it can outspeed Loomians after a Drudge. Meaning Boarrok can also get the melee attack increase even against those Loomians. Even Loomians like Cosmere Unleash, Helvantic, Joltooth, and Dakuda, and even Moraith are forced to run brawny in order to have their melee attack above Boarrok. And if they don't run brawny, Boarrok can also get a Boast boost on those Loomians as well, which is crazy. So, yeah, despite having over 50 plus Loomians with a higher base melee attack than Boarrok, Boarrok can still get a Boast boost on them because it can afford to run very brawny, while a lot of those top Loomians can't because they can actually get a lot better or more useful move pool by putting those totemized stats elsewhere, like in Nimble, or in Smart, or in, you know, other traits. So, that's another reason why Boarrok is actually very good. The only Loomians that don't need Brawny to give Boarrok and Midas Boost is Behemoth and Gargoyle of Attack. Meaning that, yeah, like I said earlier, there aren't many ways to actually give Boarrok a minus boost, which is insane. Boarrok's defensive typing of Pure Earth isn't the best, as it is weak to ice, water, and grass, not to mention that it is also weak to icicle traps, which is actually very brutal in this metagame, and it only resists toxic. But being immune to Zip Zap is a nice thing for it. Being immune to Zip Zap Zulong, Zip Zap Eliguana, Zip Zap Phage Knot is a pretty nice pro to have. So despite not having a great defensive typing, it can be at least immune to Zip Zap. Its low speed stat of 68 can also be a turnoff for certain teams, but it outspeeds most walls, meaning if you can get Boarrok onto the game with a wall, you could usually pick up an Oko if you can call your opponent's switch out correctly. Not to mention that the walls that can outspeed Boarrok, like Plasmoth, Eliguana, and Sinogre, all can't do that much damage in return. The biggest flaw, honestly, for Boarrok is Behemoth. You could say that Loomian Legacy had its own version of power creep when Behemoth was added in the game, as Behemoth is also a pure Earth type, and pretty much all of Behemoth's stats are better than Boarrok. Legit, almost all of its base stats are better. It has more melee attack, more bulk, and better speed stat. It legit does everything better than Boarrok. But despite the better stats, Boarrok still hits harder because of the Boast Boost. While Landborn is a nice ability that boosts its Earth type attacks, Boast boosts all of Boarrok's attack. Not to mention that Boast boosts Boarrok's attack by so much that it actually significantly hits way harder than Behemoth. Meaning that despite Behemoth have better stats across the board, Boarrok is still the better wall breaker, which is actually insane. And that extra damage matters in a meta where Luminami and Lashent exist, as a Mega Chomp for both Boarrok actually does way more damage to Luminami compared to a Timber Thrash from Behemoth. Harvestic resists all the hits, which is a common counter for Boarrok. Dragodyne can also resist all of its moves besides Raging Tackle, and Your Snack is also one of the best pivot Loomians in the game. It can usually live at least 3 Earthquakes from it. But despite that, none of those Loomians have reliable recovery, and all 3 of those Loomians are weak to Icicle Traps, meaning that even these Loomians that can counter Boarrok can be overwhelmed over time, and these Loomians are basically only checks at best. Boarrok also has some other tricks it can do, like dropping its speed completely, and then running it on a Bane of Haste team. This is huge because these Boarroks will actually drop their speed TPs and put it more into their bulk, meaning that they can actually live super effective hits a lot easier, and they can afford recoiling themselves so it can be more powerful with Muck Muck instead of Earthquake. I used this Boarrok several times under Bane of Haste, and it does a lot of damage, but despite that, Boarrok's main set has always been Boast. And other than the addition of Rogue Assault in December 2023 and the addition of Specialty Gloves, Boarrok has ran the same set from 2019 all the way to 2025, and it's still a dangerous threat today. As a bonus, it also matches up very well into the current meta. It hits Tyrex, Soulburst Crackalula, Wiki, and Borealis for super effective damage, and it does amazing versus Heatwave and Thunderstorm teams. Even Fog teams have to be careful, as a boosted Earthquake by Gloves, even without a Boast, Boarrok can actually 2-hit KO both Your Soul and Tyranix on Fog teams. It can also be used with other bulky pivots like Luminami and Infernix, who both have Power Dapper, and both of those Loomians can get Boarrok on the field for free. And anytime Boarrok gets on the field, it can pretty much claim an Oko anytime it gets on the field, and that's why Boarrok is the Loomian that has never fallen off. Every single meta, Boarrok has always been a very respective threat, and for good reason. It's one of the best wall breakers in all of Loomian Legacy, as almost nothing can switch into it, and even the Loomians that can switch into it have to be careful for other ideas like Icicle Traps. So yeah, it's a Loomian that most certainly deserves all of the respect it gets. It's not the flashiest Loomian, it's not even the fastest Loomian, but it hits extremely hard, and it's one of the most effective wall breakers of all time. I hope you guys enjoyed this video on Boarrok. This is an updated video from the 2022 video, and I would say I recommend y'all to watch that video. I don't. That video was kind of trash, so yeah. Y'all could just watch this video and then watch some of my other content. So yeah, hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I will see y'all all later. Bye-bye!